So, okay, we're gonna proceed with our sketch. I think there are still people waiting to enter the room. We're gonna start at the center here, right? I'm gonna start at the dome area first. So the dome area, this area is gonna be lighter. This area is gonna be slightly darker. As you can see in Hagia Sophia, the dome they have a strip type of roof construction. So you need to do like indicative of the strip of the dome. It's going to be something like this. I just do like a curved line. A very light curved line. This area we're going to have slightly darker. Yeah. So you bear in your mind the direction of the light is coming from this. So whichever on this side is going to be the shadow going to be a darker area. So this is what I'm trying to do now. I'm gonna make this area slightly darker. So while you're doing this, make sure you varies your while you're holding your pencil. Basically, make sure you don't hold it too firm. So this is the first thing that I'm going to do, just to show the form of the dome. So we're going to create a shadow here for the dome. You can see, yeah. So we leave this area as a light area first. We just concentrate on this area. So this area you can make it darker at the edge of the line, darker, and then gradually become lighter and lighter. Now, part of the dome of this building also, we have the structure that carry this dome. The structure, what you need to do basically just to put one line here, just to create, you can make it darker, one line here. You can follow what I'm doing now basically, yeah, just like a triangle here. And then this is like the buttress of the dome. So just like a curved line like that, going to the center. So I'm going to thicken it.
Zoom in.
Yeah, you can zoom in.
Zoom in.
Yeah, you can zoom. I will zoom in a bit. Okay, yeah. Huh? Can't see? What happened?
Maybe Hadil only.
Maybe I had it. I think the rest are okay, right?
The rest you can see?
Yes, we can see.
A lot of problems today. Just be patient.
Yeah, maybe the line is not that good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yes. The rest can see. Meaning Hadil, I don't know what happened. Do you just try to fix your internet or something? I think the rest can see. Now we can zoom. Yeah, it's zoom in now. You can see clearly.
So what I'm trying to do is to try to create some shadow to show the form of the structure that support the dome. Okay. So you see the light is coming from this side. So whichever that behind it, we can make it darker. So now the rest of this area, you can start make it darker. So we're gonna make all this area. Basically, this area is gonna be like that. It's just like shadow, some shadow at the back here. So now the technique of rendering, basically, you need to gradually increase the darkness of the shadow. So by doing so, we can create a tonality. Some tonality effect for this area. So this area, so I'm just following whichever area that's been darkened in the photo. Basically, I try to differentiate in my tonality sketch. So make sure you don't have to encroach into other areas. Now we're just working on the structure that's supporting the dome, the center dome. See? So your pencil doesn't have to be that sharp, you know, so you can vary, at least you can vary your tonality. Okay, this is the start that we're doing now. More or less try to finalize in this area. Next, there's some line also, the roof line here that you need to do. So do it slowly. You need to do just slightly a line here, basically. And here we have some like a feature, circular feature. Note that this area is going to be lighter because this area is protruding out. So this area we have to thicken a bit, slightly darker. And then we have also this roof. You have to light rendering, do a light rendering just to differentiate this part and this part. So you can slightly press a bit harder to make it darker, the line, so that we can differentiate whichever is the back and whichever that's in front. Now, this area is like that. And then since we have a very light shading on this part of the wall, this one is facing the sun, this one is at the other side. So it needs to be slightly darker. One. And there's also a wall here. This wall coming down 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's also a roof. This area here that's encroached to this part. Here we put a slight, very light touch on this wall. This is much lighter. You can vary the light basically to make it look solid. And there's the gap. There's another dome here where we can see the gap. So I just follow certain area, we make it darker, certain area, we make it lighter. So put a light, very light basically. This area, yeah. Okay. Now we will go into the center area here. Center area here, because this is one of the arches in front. So behind it is going to be darker. So what I need you to do, there's some windows at the back. I just indicate just like that, just to indicate only. Yeah, there's also some windows at the back here. Just like that. And just put some indicative. There's also window here, and window here. I just put indicative. So next, what I'm going to do basically is to start darken. There's going to be a shadow since the light coming from here and hit this. There's going to be shadow at the back here. I will put a very light rendering first. Then from there, we work it out which part's going to be much darker, which part's going to be lighter. Okay. Now, this windows, I will make it darker. Fill it with a darker. Make it darker. This also make it darker. Then you have some perimeter line along the windows just to create the profile or the frame of the windows. Just do indicative line here. Over here also, I'll make it darker. This one, make it darker. Now, then after that, on top, slightly I press my pencil to make the rendering getting darker and darker. This part's gonna be the darkest area because this is like a hidden area. So there's gonna be a shadow on this area. So it's gonna be slightly darker than the rest. So, okay, maybe maybe some of you afraid that you might smudge your drawing. So what you can do, you can take a tissues, or you can use a paper, just to put your hand just to support so that you will not smudge your sketch at the back. So I just use the tissue here just to so that I don't smudge my drawing. So the rest I can make it slightly more darker because we only use one pencil. We don't use color pencil basically. When you use one pencil, it's very important for you to vary the thickness or the darker part and the lighter part. The more the darker part, the more darker you do, it will emphasize more the drawing. But the danger is that you have to gradually control your thickness or control your stroke to make it gradually lighter. So at least you can minimize your difference between the area. So this area is going to be darker, and this is slightly darker because this is also at the back. There's another dome here at the back here. There's a dome here. Make it darker also. Slightly less darker. Okay. So this area is slightly darker. Then you're gonna have some opening here, or some like a there's like a clear story area. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have this portion of this building, this wall. This wall basically gonna stop somewhere around here. This wall. So we have one wall here, one wall here, one wall here. This is wall that facing the light. So we have this wall, which we need to make it slightly darker to differentiate. So what I do basically just to do a very light rendering here, and then also on this area here. Mind you, you have a pinnacle of this dome in front. Leave it like a lighter, then surrounding it, you can make it darker. So there's also shadow being casting within this area. There's arches here, which join these two buildings. So this area, according to the picture, you have cast some shadow toward this area. So I make it darker. And then these shadows usually cast like that. 45 degrees, make line, slightly line, basically. Okay, and then we have also shadow on top of this. This also you can make it darker. Okay, and this roof here. And this roof here slightly darker.
Assalamu alaikum.
Now, this part also I make it slightly darker compared to the rest, slightly darker just to okay. Slow down. I will slow down a bit, basically. Just take it easy, don't worry. I just show to you the area that you need to put some lighter, and some areas gonna be darker. So basically, yeah. I know it's a bit fast what I'm doing now, but you know, you don't have to be precise, just a sketch. So, okay. And then this area here. And this area is going to be slightly darker, slightly lighter. And then okay, now you can see now I try to create, I will zoom out a bit just to show to you what's okay. Zoom out a bit. Okay, so you can see these are the area they have done. And then you can do also very light shading, very light, basically just to give to differentiate between the paper, you know, because the paper is too white, so we make it slightly grayish. Okay. Now next, what I'm going to do basically is to finish off this area here. Yeah, this area here, this. Let me check. Just want to zoom it. Okay, we're gonna finish off this area. This area, what I need you to do, the top of the minaret here, basically it's gonna be in darker color. One side, this side, gonna be darker, and gradually you make it lighter. Yeah, and this is slightly lighter, so you have some tonality. This part is darker, and this part is lighter. So that at least can create like a 3D effect. Same also for this. Okay. You can see that the minaret, this minaret for Hagia Sophia, they have is not exactly a cylinder. You have some line, vertical line of this minaret like that. So then you have this area here, a portion of the minaret, section of the minaret. So what I did basically just to differentiate, just put color a bit here, slightly grayish and slightly darker. So this area also gonna be darker and lighter. This gonna be darker and lighter. This gonna be darker and lighter. So you create like a line, like a strip for the minaret. Yeah, simple like that. Okay, next. You can see what happened. My hand got smudged, but anyway, it's okay. Then I'm going to work out on this area here, this area. Let me zoom a bit. Just click here. So this wall basically is at the back. So this wall, we're gonna emphasize slightly. It's like that. Okay, it's like this. And you have this dome here, going up and then coming down like that. So we need to establish the shape. Just do a very simple rendering this area here. Simple rendering. And then you can do a line here, basically, for this dome. And then make it slightly grayish. Yeah. So we're going to deal a lot with using black and white this time. So some of the area here we can establish, you know, we establish the darker and the white. What we're doing now, basically, we establish the shape of some of the wall feature using a darker line, a lighter line. So there's also opening door here or windows here, which I just do like a strip. A small door here, small opening here, and then very light. Basically, look how I hold the pencil. It's a bit far away, and then very lightly we just do like a vertical rendering to this area. Very light, try to make it even. Yeah. So over here also there's some shadow being created according to the photos. Just like that. And this go like this. Just do a sketches, basically, just line. There's a king here, and then go back like that, and then down again, and go here, stop here. And here, you can do some shape here, like that. It follows the same concept as the main dome. You have a vertical line, like a buttress that support this half dome here. So I just indicate just like a vertical line, like that. And then I just, you know, darken the line. You can darken the line and put some more gray color to it. Hold on, I think somebody tried to. So what I'm doing now basically is to establish the boundary between the dome, or the perimeter between the dome and the support of it. Yeah. If you think that I'm a bit fast, basically, don't worry. There's going to be a recording on this. You can always coming back to the recording and then use it as a reference, basically, to complete your sketch. So here also, I try to make it darker. Indicate a line. So remember, we have some trees here. I still maintain the shape of the trees here. Tree line here. Maintain the line, and the rest I will put some shadow. So what I'm doing now, I just try to create a shadow line according to the photos. Then I make it darker. So it doesn't have to be precise, basically. It doesn't have to be detailed. We just try to create, one of the good thing about creating shadows, basically, it hide a lot of details, but at the same time, it gives some definition to your sketch. So basically, you hide whichever that is difficult for you to draw. So on certain area, see on certain on the edge, basically I make it a bit darker just to differentiate between this part and this part. Then we have, there's going to be, you can see there's a curve here. It's actually one of the dome. So there's some slight shadow here, a very light shadow. So I just put it like that, just to indicate shape. Okay. Here also we have some, you can put some dotted line just to create the feature. Very light, basically. Okay. Then next, we're gonna finish off this area here, this minaret here. This minaret is going like that. Same what we are doing also. For this one, for this one, we're doing the same. I'm gonna make it slightly darker here, this side here. And then lighter once it's coming to this part here, because this part is facing the light. Then here we have just some line. This part's going to be darker. Okay. I adjust a bit the shape here. So this area is going to be darker. This area is going to be lighter. So this portion basically is going to be the darker part stop somewhere around here because there's some different in the shadow of this minaret. So this part is going to be darker. And make it darker. And then gradually lighter. So it's going to be darker just to show that the shape. Okay. Very simple one. You can put, you can refine a bit the line here. So at least we can define the shape of the minaret. So this part you can leave it lighter because it's facing the light. So, but this part you can press your pencil a bit to make it darker to define the form of the minaret. I think there are 2 more people coming in, I think. Yeah, hold on, yeah. Okay. Coming to this area. We try to create some definitions using a shadow for this portion here. There will be a line here also, horizontal line here, just to show the shape of the minaret. This one's coming like that. Okay, we're coming down here. This area here. Slightly, we have a dome here also. Very light. You don't have to do that much detail. Just we do a very light rendering. This one slightly darker and then gradually become lighter and lighter. Also, there's some showing some shape of the opening on this area. Just do indicative only. Yeah. This part you can make darker and then slightly lighter. So, and then we have here, this one coming down. Okay, same also here. Very light vertical sketch and then some shape of the opening here. Very light basically. So over here you can continue. Put some very light. Hold on, let me check. Let me just bit. So what I'm doing now, a very light shading to this area. And then for this minaret, I do a very simple one, basically. Just a very light gray shadow. This we're not going to concentrate that much, basically, but we try to create some to solidify this minaret here. So same thing. So this part is going to be slightly darker and gradually lighter. Okay. Now more or less, I will zoom out a bit now, just to show. See, you can see now, basically, gradually we have established some, it become more solid now, basically, yeah? You can see now, become more solid now. So I still maintain, as you can see, I still maintain the direction of the light. So whichever that facing the light is going to be lighter, whichever at the back going to be much darker. So now we're going to go back to the center now. We're going to finish this area and then this minaret here. So come to the center here for this dome. I will zoom now. Yeah. Okay. This we're going to have a shadow, and this is going to be a darker shadow later on, but we're going to do some light shadow for this dome here. This dome. So this dome we have established a line here. For this dome we have established a line here. And then this top portion of the dome, make it slightly darker. And then there's a shadow here. Basically, the shadow of the dome from the picture is something like this. You go like that. Yeah, something like that. So this area is gonna be gray color, gray area, like a gray shadow. Basically, while you're doing this, try to make like a curved shape just to indicate the shape of the dome. Basically, you try to follow. Once it's getting nearer to the boundary, because it become, the curvature become more prominent. So you have to, you know, try to follow that curvature. But once it goes to the center, become more straight. There's some line also. You press a bit your pencil just to indicate the line. See what I'm doing now? Try to indicate the line of the shape of the dome, basically. See, this line is going to be straight and then gradually become curve, and towards at the end we follow back the boundary. So this part is going to be lighter, that's fine. And then we have also this area here. This area here, we have slightly darker. And then this one, you can make it slightly darker also. Okay. Okay. Okay, now there's a dome in the back here, darker color. And then put some lighter color here, grayish color, because it's at the back. So this area also, we put some gray area just to, so you varies, basically you varies your gray area. Some are slightly darker, some are lighter, depend on the area and depend on how it's going to be look like. I think there's a curve here, there's a roof here curve, so there's some shadow here. Let me adjust a bit so you can see that. Yeah, you can see I try to create. You don't have to, you know, maintain your line of the trees. These are the line of the trees that I still maintain. Try to just put it darker, can make the line much more prominent. Okay, I try to establish this line, make it more darker. Just like an organic shape. Okay, then let me zoom out a bit. Okay, now this area here, there's another dome here, the dome, and this dome, they have the top portion of this dome is here, and this area is going to be brighter. So half of the dome basically is within the shadow or within the shaded area. So the dome, normally this dome, they have some line to indicate how the roof being constructed. So the line, the technique is that you just, when it becomes straightened in the middle and become curved, you need to curve a bit, and then, you know, follow back the side. I think there's some opening here also. I just indicate just like that only. There's some opening for this, and then slowly you can make this area slightly grayish. Grayish color up to somewhere around here. Yeah, around here, and then leave this one light. Then we go to the minaret here. I just do indicative line like what we did before. It should be some line, vertical line like that. And then make it here slightly darker. And then lighter. Same also. Maybe 1 or 2 line here just to indicate the shape. And then darker here and then lighter here. So we make this one slightly darker to indicate the perimeter of the minaret. Same also on this part. Same also for this area here. Darker and then lighter and lighter. Okay, I try to speed up this because we don't have that much time, but anyway, it's okay. Okay. Now, I just remove this light direction. So we need to do some final touch in the middle. I will zoom out a bit. Okay. We need to finish off this area here. This area here, basically, this is the same what we did on the other dome. For this dome, we have the top portion here. You see that what I did, I thicken a bit, darken a bit the line on one side, and the other side is slightly lighter. Okay. And then also there's a line here for this dome. So this line gradually coming to the center. And then you repeat back to the other side. But this side is going to be lighter, so we don't really see it. There's an opening here, windows. I'm going to darken it. So this area, I'm going to darken it. Just to make some definition to this dome. So I do it quite quickly. There's also a line, horizontal line here. Just to indicate the component of the dome. Okay, yeah. This one, you can press it slightly darker. And then it go down to this area here. This area also same what we're doing because they have a different shape, different wall. So I just make it darker. Then I need to put indicatives to show the windows here. On this side, it will be slightly darker. Then gradually on this part here. Let's do a very simple sketch. Very simple. You can see now this opening is going to be like that. You make it slightly darker, and then one side you can thicken it a bit just to show the part of the frame of the windows. So you don't have to be detailed. You just press a bit, make it darker, and then the rest just put some tonality to it. So okay, there's some line here also just to indicate the roof. Okay, now more or less we have done. So next I just darken the trees, the shade of the tree. Okay, just make the lines much more darker. See, just to establish the form, maybe somewhere around here, and then we stop there. And then for this tree also, there's a shadow here. There's a, you can make it darker just to cover up this area, but make sure you maintain the tree line or the leaf. Yeah. So I darken all these trees. Also on this part, you can refer back later on also to the photos that you have basically. And then from there, you can decide whether you want to put this tree black or white, because this, you can see in the photos, part of the trees, we can do like this also, like that. You can see in the photos. So this small portion here, and then it goes like that. So basically you can decide whether you want to make it slightly darker, so you can do that. So I just do an indicative rough indicative area. Maybe this portion, maybe you can make it darker later on. You can follow back the photos and then you can readjust back your sketches basically according to your creativity basically. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do now, just to differentiate. Maybe this tree is gonna be that. Okay. Now, more or less, I think, yeah, you don't have to follow exactly what's in the photo. You can see now what I did basically. I just simplified these photos basically. And then from here, it's up to your creativity, which part that you want to put darker color, which part you want to put lighter color. Then it depends on your creativity. So for me now, more or less, I have completed this. Let me show the overall picture of my sketch. So with this, basically, you can frame it with a frame, so it becomes of sketch. Okay. Don't forget, you select one portion or one area of your drawing to put your signature. Every artist, basically, they should have your own. It's not a signature, but it's your initial. So my initial, usually, most of my drawing, and this is what I'm doing for my signature. I will put my signature is like this. Don't follow, yeah. If you follow this, it become my signature. Then you have to put your own signature. Okay, so I put my signature here. Then I put the date today. Today is what day? The date Saturday. So it's the 4th of September. So I will write 04, 09, and 2021. So maybe after 1 or 2 years, you can see that, yeah, last 2 years I did this sketch basically. So I can zoom a bit. This is how my initial on the drawing. Yeah. So that, I think more or less I've done my sketch basically. Very simple Hagia Sophia drawing. Let me zoom out so that you can see the overall of it. Okay. Yes. So I would be happy if all of you can make a snapshot, your sketch basically, and upload in the WhatsApp group. At least I can show you, I can see your works basically. So This is what I did. Okay. The technique for this sketches, basically, we only concentrate the one in the middle and the rest, a very light sketch, basically. Then I think it's done. Yeah. So if you manage to do this, you should be proud of yourself. So happy sketching. Don't forget, keep practicing. And then I see you next week. Maybe next week